Hey, what's going on YouTube? Jamo TV HD. We outside. We here with the Huawei Mate 20X. We got a little gimbal, Zhiyun Smooth 4. And yeah. Basically I've been hearing a lot of people chat smack about the video quality on the Huawei Mate 20X. And I just wanted to test out the video quality, do some normal tests, something that a normal person can do, and see how the video comes out, because even myself, 1080p at 30 frames per second seems cool, but 1080p at 60, 4K, and any other resolution they give you seems to crop the image and therefore make the resolution a lot worse. So yeah, we're going to try some shots with the gimbal, then we're going to try some shots without the gimbal and see what the quality is looking like. So 1080p, 30 frames per second, handheld on the Huawei Mate 20X. Yeah. Whilst walking, we're just looking at the image stabilisation, which looks quite decent. Let's go into wide angle mode. There we go, walking at quite a reasonable pace. Quite a reasonable pace indeed. Yeah, it looks alright. Alright, let's try some 60 frames per second. And now Huawei Mate 20X, 1080p, 30 frames per second, using a gimbal. Okay. So as you can see, looks quite decent. Looks very smooth compared to what I just saw when I was holding it handheld. Let's go into a three time zoom. There we go. That's what a 3x zoom looks like. It's a bit out of focus, to be honest. But yeah, it looks okay, I guess. At least now I can actually walk quite fast with it. Let's try 5x zoom. Still a bit fuzzy, a bit blurry, not really focusing on things that are quite far ahead. But yeah, the footage is a lot, you know, I think it's a lot better. I just don't know why it's not focusing. I can't see why. And let's try wide angle. And yeah, just I thought wide angle doesn't really have any problems. There you go. Alright, so 1080p, 60 frames per second on the Huawei Mate 20X. We're handheld at the moment. The footage looks a little more joggy to me. Doesn't look like the stabilization is doing as well as it should be. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Let's go to wide angle mode now. There we go. It looks alright, but still looks a bit shaky to me. Don't know what you guys think. This is obviously the handheld version. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the zoom. Oops. Let's stand still to focus first of all. And we're not focusing for some reason. Can't focus on that guy's license plate. Why not? Alright guys, Huawei Mate 20X, 1080p, 60 frames per second, using the gimbal. And we're gonna start walking. There we go, much smoother. Even the pans obviously are much smoother as well. Let's try and zoom in, shall we? There we go. Yep. Doesn't even look like we're walking towards the sign, but it starts blurring out for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. Let's try 5x zoom. It is a lot more stable, but for some reason the resolution from the preview looks really bad. I'm wondering if it's going to look like that when I actually upload it to YouTube. Yeah, the resolution looks really terrible at the moment. Let's try wide angle. And wide angle looks fine. Wide angle looks fine. But yeah, the resolution on 3x zoom, let's try that again. Let me get a 3x zoom there. Yeah, the resolution 3x zoom looks a bit terrible. I don't know what's going on. It's only on 1080p 60 frames per second. Let me try cleaning the camera lens. Okay, I cleaned the camera lens and now 1080p 60 frames per second 3x zoom looks a little more palatable. But yeah, now let's try and compare this to 1080p 30 frames per second 3x zoom. Alright guys, this is now 1080p 30 frames per second 3x zoom, and if you ain't seen it now, it's ridiculously clearer than the 60 frames per second mode was, and I can't see why. I don't see what more frames per second has to do with the actual resolution quality. But yeah, 1080p 3x zoom looks a lot better. Not sure why we was stuck with that terrible quality for 60 frames per second mode, but that's something I want to look into. And then normal 1x zoom. Yeah, there you go guys. So yeah guys, just got in now. I had a little look at the footage and I'm kind of disappointed. With this Huawei Mate 20X. Couple things that I noticed specifically with this phone. The 1080p mode, okay, that seems to be okay. 1080p 30 frames per second video, that seems to do its job. You know, the wide angle looks okay on that. It seems to have the least cropped image out of all the other video resolutions that are optional there. And yeah, it just seems to work, kind of thing. Get that out of the way. Now, if you go on to 1080p 60 frames per second mode, I think that's one of the worst modes that they've got on this, that they've got as an option on there, because for a start, it's cropped in more than the 1080p 30 frames per second mode. Like, okay. And you think, okay, because it's cropped in, that might be because of the image stabilization. However, the video also seems more shaky than 1080p 30 frames per second mode. And usually you crop into an image on a video to add the electronic image stabilization kind of thing, but I don't understand why it's cropped more than 30 frames per second mode, but yet has worse image stabilization than 30 frames per second mode does. Also, in 3x zoom, and I found this for most modes, to be honest, if not all of them, it finds it really hard to focus. Like, even if you tap to focus, it finds it very hard to focus on whatever you're pointing the camera at. And it's just like, what is this? I've cleaned the camera lens so many times to make sure there's nothing on there that it's trying to focus on. But yeah, it generally finds it very hard to focus when it's zoomed into 3x zoom or 5x hybrid zoom. So I'm not really sure what's going on there with the quality. And furthermore, when you do 3x zoom or 5x zoom in any other mode apart from 1080p 30 frames per second, the resolution is terrible. It looks like you're looking at a 640 by 489, or even that, like a 320 by 240 image. Like, I don't know what's going on. All the modes apart from 1080p 30 frames per second mode have got some kind of issue where they've been cropped, and now all the image resolution is just turns down. But anyway, guys, you've seen. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, subscribe. Hopefully Huawei can get this sorted. I'll catch you in the next one. Jamo out.